Hello everybody, it is Emery48 here and welcome back to another video, and this is the first video of 2023, which means that 2022 is over. So we are going to take a look back at 2022, a year in review if it were. As well as this is a year in review, this is also the first of 365 videos I'm releasing this year, as it is finally 2023 and I'm doing daily uploads. But let's get into the year in review. January, we had the first successful heart transplant from a pig to a human. Now, that's really cool, but also kind of disturbing, honestly. It's really odd. Then, in the NCAA College Football Championship, the Georgia Bulldogs beat the Alabama Crimson Tide 33-18 in the national championship, allowing them to become champions. It's pretty cool. In February, and not as enjoyable news, Russia invaded Ukraine, and they are still there. And it really toppled world economies across the globe. In the same month, we also had the Beijing 2022 Olympics, which were the Winter Olympics, which honestly, it didn't seem like anyone really cared about. Didn't seem like many people watched. But something people definitely did watch is the Super Bowl. And the Los Angeles Rams became Super Bowl champions and then kind of fumbled the bag this year. But hey, that's fine, I guess. In March, we had March Madness, as we always do, and the Kansas Jayhawks won the national tournament there, which I successfully guessed in the bracket challenge. And then we had the slap. And no, I'm not talking about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. That's only alleged slaps. This was an on-television, full-on, whack to the face. Will Smith to Chris Rock. April. There they are. The great couple themselves, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, had their impressive trial, I guess we'll call it. The fridgening also happened. I stared at a fridge for 10 minutes. That was great. Wearing the same shirt, actually, as that day, which is really odd. Did I ever mention that there are bus lanes on Mass Ave? I think that's important to point out. If you're ever in Mass Ave, on Mass Ave, in Cambridge area, there is a bus lane. I think it's a very valuable bus lane. You can see the bus in the bus lane, so it's obviously used. But I just wanted to point it out. We move on to May. And we have the Event Horizon Black Hole on the left. Honestly, it's blurrier than I remembered, but it's there. We have Real Madrid winning the Champions League, and Obi-Wan is released in April. In May, sorry. It starts getting released, and what a great series that was. I have a video on the channel talking about that in more detail, but I would definitely recommend, especially if you are at all a Star Wars fan. We move on to June, and the whiskey war ends between Canada and Denmark. If you don't know much about this war, probably makes sense. It's about this little island somewhere, I believe, near Greenland, which it's disputed whether or not it was Canadian land or Denmark land, Danish land. So they would go put a flag and a whiskey, and then the next military would go pick up the whiskey, put their flag, and put their whiskey. And I believe they've split the island down the middle. And honestly, I don't really know what the value is looking at the island, but that war is over. So, happy news. Or sad news if you were the soldiers getting free whiskey, basically. Roe versus Wade was also overturned. The Supreme Court overturned it. ending abortion protections in many states throughout the U.S. And that impact is still going on today. There's still discussions about the correctness of that, but on that topic and on other topics of national importance, whichever side you want to be on, please go vote. Make your side actually known and useful to the government. That is all I will say about these topics. Just want people to go and vote. Now we have some sports news. Colorado Avalanche were the champions of the NHL Stanley Cup, and unfortunately, as a Celtics fan, the Golden State Warriors won the NBA championship. But the Celtics were able to become Eastern Conference champs. So second place. It's close. I'll take it. In July, we had the first images from the James Webb Telescope, and these images were so cool. This is only one of them. If you have a chance to go and look at some of them, they're awesome. I've been playing Assault to Singularity, and it takes place kind of in space-ish sometimes, depending on what mode you're in. And man, this kind of picture is just so cool. August, Nancy Pelosi visits Taiwan, and China got real moody about it and does this big military drill right near Taiwan to show that they mean business and they're still serious people. You know, it's definitely not overcompensation for a U.S. senator just visiting a country. But hey. In September, we had the Sidemen charity football match where Vicstar 123 scores in open play, which is very cool because he's only ever scored a penalty before. But that was very cool. Great match. A lot of money raised for charity. Good event all around. To stay in Britain now, Queen Elizabeth died just about 2 days after Liz Truss took over as Prime Minister for Boris Johnson. And in that month as well, Star Wars Andor started being released. Another great series. If you like Star Wars, definitely have to watch Andor. If you don't like Star Wars, it's not very Jedi Sith. In fact, they're not involved. So it's just a good story all around, and I would recommend it even if you haven't really watched too much Star Wars. There's some stuff that you might need background knowledge on, but for the most part, it is a very just quality story. In October, we returned back to Liz Truss, who resigns after about 50 days in power, and Rishi Sunak becomes the Prime Minister of England. Elon Musk also buys Twitter in this month. And just like Liz Truss, he's going to have such a long reign as Twitter owner person. The Houston Astros win the World Series. The only reason I use this picture is because Christian Vasquez is in there and he's a former Red Sox, so it doesn't hurt me as much. November, world population passes 8 billion people. Still can't figure out if that's a positive or a negative for us, but that's what happened. NASA sends up Artemis 1, it goes around the moon, and comes back, lands. We did space thing again for kind of the first time since the 1960s, really, so weird but cool. The Billboard Hot 100, Taylor Swift claims all 10 of the top 10 spots on the Billboard Top 100 songs. And that is the first person to ever do that, so that's a real cool accomplishment. Granted, I haven't listened to any of the songs, but they must be good because a lot of people did. December, we get World Cup 2022 Qatar, and there was nothing wrong with the World Cup. You know, it was great. Messi gets his World Cup, Argentina wins. Pretty sure the goalkeeper lost his award. The U.S. had a valiant effort, honestly. They lost the Netherlands, which I don't think is a bad loss. It would have been nice to see them go a little bit farther, but the games all around were enjoyable. There were some questions about some off-the-field things. But all in all, the World Cup was a fairly good success, especially if you're Lionel Messi and Argentina. Musk resigns from Twitter as well. a little over a month, maybe not even. But that is our 2022 year in review. Let me know if there's stuff I missed. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.